Hi everyone, welcome to Augmintech. So today's video we are going to talk about residential space planning. So to start with, understanding residential layouts, like how are the different kinds of layouts being created. So number one is the master plan. Master plan is a large scale vision of the entire development, be it your roads, utilities, amenities. So here we are not just talking about interior design, we are talking about the urban planning. So that master plan tells us where each and every residential house is going to be. Then comes the second plan, which is the layout plan. This is the detailed organization of specific areas within the master plans, building placement, individual plots, etc. So this means where is your plot located at the complete master plan. And the plans that we do as interior designers, those are the furniture layout plans that we do for just our own apartment or the residential plot. Coming back to the type of residential layouts, there are different types of residential layouts available, like how people have planned different societies. Number one is the grid layout. Here the streets intersect at right angles, creating a structured, efficient pattern, just like the one that you see on the top right corner. These are the kinds of layouts that we refer to as grid layouts. Then come your radial layouts. Streets radiate from a central point, often a park or community space. So in this kind of a layout, we have something as a central element, be it a park, be it a community space, and everything else revolves around it. So the streets would be like going like this, like you see in this image, and this would be called as a radial layout. Now the third type of layout is your curvilinear layout. This uses curved streets and cul-de-sacs for more natural, less rigid fee. So here it is quite the opposite of the plan that you see here. There are no sharp edges in this. We try to create everything into a curvilinear pattern. After that, zoning in residential interiors. So how do we create zones? Zoning in residential interiors is very important for us to understand which space is going to be utilized for what function. So number one thing is your furniture placement, using sofas, rugs, bookshelves to define areas, or else yes, we have the traditional use of walls where we are creating, let's say this is a kitchen, this is a dining room, but in today's world we are also doing things like having a half wall or maybe having a breakfast counter which segregates the dining and the kitchen space. So this is the kind of furniture placement that you can do to create several zones. Then comes your visual cues, changing colors, flooring, lighting to signal a new zone. Now let's say you have entering a house and you have entered the foyer area. In this area you have a large chandelier which is going to provide a certain kind of lighting, and the moment you pass through that, you reach to another space in the residential space where you have a lot of different kinds of lighting. So that would help you create different zones using lights. Then comes your physical barriers. Consider half walls, screens, sliding doors for separations. Now, if you want to create, segregate different zones, you can have sliding doors. There can be wall screens, there can be partitions. So all of that is also there for you to create zones. Now, other things that we can do, like zoning in residential interiors, is all about dividing your home into distinct areas based on their functions. Residential houses or residential spaces cannot be one big hall. They also need to have some private sectors. There has to be some hierarchy of spaces. There has to be functional debate, like this is a master bedroom, so this has to be private. This is a kitchen area, maybe this is semi-private. This is a living area, maybe that's a openly private or a public space. So you can define those by different elements and their functionalities. Number one is living zone. So for the living zone, we kind of create them into relaxing, entertaining spaces. So here we are planning, comfortable sofas, we are planning entertainment units. So all of that goes into your living zone. Then comes your kitchen and dining zone. Here the focus is on cooking and eating. So we have to provide a comfortable space where people can actually prepare their food with ease and they can sit and enjoy also eating their food. Then comes your sleep zone, which is your bedrooms. So this is all about rest and privacy. Here you cannot really give anybody half walls or partitions. Here we have to consider acoustics, we have to consider sound, we have to consider light, and we have to create private zones for these kinds of spaces. Then comes your work zone. Maybe in some residential spaces you provide some study area, you provide some home office. This is also done within the sleep zone. So maybe when you have your bedrooms, there also you plug in a home office or you plug in a study area. So that's also a part of zoning. Finally, multi-purpose zones. So maybe there are some flexible zones, like the guest room also can be a home office, and when the guests are there, that becomes your guest room. So because it is not going to be used every day, so you can have multi-purpose zones in the space. Now, optimizing small residential spaces. Now, you would say that these are different kinds of zones, yes, but what if I have a very small residential space? How do I create zones in that? So number one thing that you can do is multifunctional furniture. Having multifunctional furniture is very easy. It's very easy to use. It's comfortable and it saves a lot of spaces. For example, sofa beds. So if somebody is using the same room for the living area and at the night they're changing it to a sofa bed, and that can be used as a private sleeping space. Storage ottomans, fold down tables. So there are so many kind of furniture pieces available in the market which you can use for such kind of spaces. But also if you want to create something of your own, that can also be a new design element. Next comes vertical space. If you have a very small residential space, it's important that we utilize the vertical space as well. So whatever the height of the space is, try going for shelves, try going for wall mounted storage. Maybe there are high cabinets which can be used. So all of this should be utilized in small spaces. Hidden storage. Under the bed boxes, built-in drawers, behind the door organizers. So we are not losing on any kind of small space. We are utilizing each and every inch of it, by creating hidden storages. Minimize clutter. Regular decluttering, donate, sell unused items. Also, when you're decorating such a space, do not go for big pieces. Go for smaller pieces. Go for less and less decor pieces so that it has a more openness to it. Other things which can be done for large residential spaces. Now the problem is same for both kind of spaces. If the space is too small, you do not know how to fit in everything, but the space, if it's too large, how do you know how to fill that space? So defined zones. It's very important to break up large spaces into functional areas. Even if it is a big hall, it's a big lobby space, you should understand that you can create zones even within that. Maybe there's a small space which is a casual living area, there's a small space which is like a family living lounge, maybe there's a space which acts as a semi dining area. So all of those can be defined within the larger groups. Focal points. Create visual interest with artwork or furniture. With large spaces, we should always consider how are we decorating the space. Maybe you are using a lot of decor pieces, maybe you're using installations to create focal points all across the space, so that we do not feel like this is a very, you can say, empty kind of a space. Scale and proportion. Use appropriately sized furniture. If we are working with large residential spaces, it's important that we realize here each and every furniture piece that you're using should be proportionate to the size of the space. So if it's like a 20 by 20 living area, you cannot put like a two-seater sofa and say that's it. You have to create your furniture pieces accordingly. Ample lighting. Layered lighting for ambience and function. It's very important for large residential spaces that we provide layered lighting, because if the height is much or the space is much larger, having these layers of lighting like accents and having some kind of spotlights would make a lot of difference and would kind of create a more subtly beautiful space. And finally, more things that can be done for your residential spaces. Ample lighting, texture and warmth. It's very important for us to realize that large spaces require rugs. The textiles play a huge role in this, and if you want to add some kind of life in the space, you should always add plants. So these layers of decor will help you optimize the large residential spaces. Flow and circulation. Ensure easy movement between zones. So it's very important, since we have a large space, it should be very easy to move around in that kind of space. Do not overcrowd the space with furniture. Keep enough flow and circulation space. Finally, personalization. It's very important to reflect your style with decor and art. So this can be your style or your client's style, that you are personalizing the space accordingly. So all of this will help you create a more optimized and a nice way of zoning your residential space. I hope this helps. Stay tuned for more videos.